So it's a mangvuka namhlanje ekseni. I really had no idea as to what the hell I would be talking about today. But however, it just so happened ukuthi whilst I was preparing myself to be able to come to Khular Pod, I was like, hang on a second, I think this particular subject matter would really work, which is UBIZO. Because I find that a lot of times when I ask my fellow young men and young women, particularly when I'm at school or in Espaza shop, mangithi, hey dude, so tell me bro, what are your thoughts, your views about UBIZO? Would you accept it or you just disregard it altogether? And most of them will be like, but anyway, welcome to everybody who's watching the podcast of OTSHEPILE. This is a special episode because I am not alone. As you can see, I am joined by the most beautiful, sexy, and gorgeous Nompumelelo. Could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi guys, my name is Nompumelelo Mhlambi. Well, the only reason I'm here is because I'm Varashile, but yeah.
Like she came through and she added extra value added advice of which is gonna make the show even more impactful. Before I get right straight into the biz of things, I'd like to pose a question to those who are watching currently, is that if when you had to receive ancestral calling, would you answer to the calling, or would you rather ignore it and be like, this thing I ain't using? I'd really like to hear your thoughts. Please share your comments, your views, and your feedback, as it would be highly appreciated. On all my social media platforms, I am Thabang Kwena on my Facebook page, at Kwena on Twitter, as well as on my Instagram account, Thabang_Kwena. But anyway, let's get right straight into it. I understand a lot of times UBIZO is not, which is the calling, it's not really an easy thing to respond to. Talking from personal experience. So umamami, I think this was like 2009, late 2009 going into 2010. She had, ancestral calling, and it really wasn't easy for her to be able to join abapansi and being able to carry through imisebenzi yabogogo. And for me, it was quite a stressful time because already I was engaging in a lot of activities eskolweni, and for me having to chop and change between different people ebazayo endlini just to overlook us being me and my younger brother, it was really stressful because that motherly touch, it was missing. I'd like to know from you, like, what do you think about this whole ancestral calling? Because I remember Uguti, before we even went live, we did touch Gangane Uguti. A lot of people are not doing this thing on a genuine basis, so it's a case of like a quick cash kind of thing. So I'd just like to hear more of your thoughts on this whole debacle of ancestral calling, and why is it abantu abaningi they don't really take to heart this whole thing.
Okay, well, for me, when you talk about the calling UBIZO, it's something, well, now it's something made into, I believe personally, a money-making scheme.
Yeah.
Because like everyone is now, like even celebrities are taking on the thing. It's okay, UBIZO, because I feel like it's the in thing, and that's why I said before we started recording.
Yeah.
Guti, you'd find Guti. I'd go to someone, a consultant.
Yeah.
Well, because now I believe that, okay, I had a dream or something, UBIZO.
Yeah.
I'd go to that person and then learn whether I have it or not, would just say, it's okay, yeah, now, because knowing good, I'm paying you. So I feel like as much as they highlighted before we recorded with you, this thing is like going to a doctor. It's like going to anyone.
Yeah. But
it's become a thing where it doesn't really go to the substance of everything.
And people are failing to understand Uguti. This thing, it's actually deeper than what people think it is, because you mentioned indaba substance. Because when it comes to UBIZO, it's not a case of you just going there and then doing whatever that you need to do and coming back. There's a lot that goes into you being able to answer to your ancestral calling. And last time I checked, when it comes to abantu abathwasayo, there's many levels, because abanye angicho, abanye they specifically deal with families, others specifically deal with abantwana, others specifically deal with like particularly umuti phela. Even though that, yes, like a general practitioner, there'll be certain things of which like most, if not all, of izangoma will be able to do. However, there'll be that one specific field of which you'll be concentrating onto, instead of ukuthi uhlale kwinto eyi-one. So nakhona abantu bayakhohlwa ukuthi this thing, it's a spiritual thing, and it's not something of which it kumele ukuthi sidlale ngayo.
Okay, I'm sorry to disturb you. What I want to know is, when do I know what's in UBIZO? How do I know what's in UBIZO? Am I being told in a dream, like every other person will tell you, it's no bangchele pupeni? Or does someone literally come to me and say, UBIZO?
Well, it can happen two ways. It can happen two ways, but again, I'm talking from personal experience. Now, I'll use my mom again. Oh, my mom, when she answered the call to her ancestral calling, it happened through a vision. So she had multiple visions, of which azanga Mhlambi, it's just one of those dreams. But then they became even more intense the more so it just so happened ukuthi since Lapa Ekaya, we come from a long stream of traditional. So throughout those visions, she was lucky enough to meet omunye ugogo vele. And then he approached Umamvelo Amtshela ukuthi, okay, this is what's happening currently in Empilweni, and this is these are the certain steps that you need to take in order to uzokwazi ukuqhubeka ngempilo yakho. And there's this misconception that once you become a traditional healer, everything else of which you were involved in empilweni yakho needs to fall away, when actually that's not the case. So whatever life that you had previously, you can still carry on with it, regardless of what's okay, fine, yes, singing sangoma and singing atwasa doesn't necessarily mean you need to do away with.
But I feel like it becomes baffling when umuntu azothi UBIZO. I don't know, maybe I'm talking out of ignorance. When umuntu azothi kimi, you just come up to me and say UBIZO. My first reaction is not going to be good. Okay, what should I do? My first reaction is going to be like, uqalile.
Yeah.
Uqalile. Because now we must understand that we come in a century where ancestral beliefs are thrown out the window. Because I've got this thing with nami I'm going to be isangoma. But I've got this thing with my parents are telling me never in my house by sangom. Maybe it becomes a thing that now my mom is saying one out of her own belief and out of her own experiences. And now I'm also saying the same thing. No man, you can't just basically.
Yeah, because some of these people, they're not even, because what I am sensing from what you're saying, most of these people, they're not really genuine with them approaching normal everyday civilians of South Africa and be like, hey, yo, listen, this is XYZ is happening, and as a result, ABC.
And with you saying that, what makes me believe okay, people are not coming with the actual thing UBIZO. So when the minute you're going to come to me and say UBIZO, ignorance kicks in, and I'm like, there it goes again. Remember
when I mentioned earlier on Uguti, it's a spiritual thing. So for me personally, I feel that depending on your spiritual gauge, your spiritual growth, and your level of maturity, Uguti, if you would be at that specific given moment in time, will will determine how receptive are you going to be of lentole. To the viewers that are watching now currently, I'd really like to know, Uguti, from your side, if it does ever happen, or has it ever occurred to you, or even some of the people that were within your family who received an ancestral calling, did they immediately act upon it and were like, okay, cool, it's in your hands, or was it just a case of Guti, nope, this is not for me, I do not believe in this, and as a result, do please kindly leave your comments and feedback. It would be greatly appreciated. And remember, then until then, guys,
bye.
From me and Nompumelelo, kusasa.